Okay, so today I wanted to talk partly about a whole topic which I've been sitting on for quite a while, and that is the topic of deadbeat fathers. Now, you might be going like, deadbeat fathers, of course, everyone knows about them. They're the fathers that abandon the home, they leave it, and yes and no, and that's what I want to get to today. When I'm talking about deadbeat fathers, I'm talking the socialization of the deadbeat father attitude, and how it leads to not just deadbeat fathers who leave the home, but deadbeat fathers who are present, who are in the home, and still part of the family. And this has been popularized on TikTok and YouTube through video form, like as of late. There was one video, for example, I saw a popular YouTuber review, I think it was Samantha Luck, in which the woman had gone in to take a shower, so she left the baby with the father, and when she came out, all of a sudden he's like, okay, I did my duty of babysitting, here's the baby again, now get back to work, so I can watch baseball, or whatever he was doing on the couch at that time. And my point is, that in turn is also a deadbeat father. Because, and this is like the one thing we have to face, deadbeat doesn't mean you're out of the home, and if you're in the home, you're not. It means that you're not. That means you're not present for your child. And if you're not there, and you're not taking responsibility for them, and you're not involved in their life, yeah, you're fundamentally a deadbeat father at that point. And I don't think anyone can argue back that premise because on the statement, if you're not involved with your child, you're an absent father. That's by definition. So what I want to get into with that is the fact like there are so many men like this, as well as men who abandon their children completely and just leave the home. And it's a lot due to socialization of young boys and young male bodied individuals when they're younger to not take this like whole child rearing thing seriously, that it's all the woman's responsibility. And we have to be honest, we have to be precise, and we have to like call this out because it is absolute bullshit. If you agree to have a child, then you agree to dedicate every waking moment that's free, that's not occupied by work or something else, to that child. And yes, that means giving up sporting events sometimes. Just like the mother has to give up some of her personal interests, so does the father. And we have to come to this because this is part of what's coming with this whole red pill thing. Like, it's not so much that men are all of a sudden, like, unprivileged. It's that they are losing their privilege, their superior privilege to everyone else, and saying they have to be on more equal footing. And they're taking that like, oh no, you're knocking me down, you're making me less. No, you're being equal now. Meaning, yes, she watches the kid when you're at work, but also, you watch the kid when she's at work. But men are socialized out of that mindset, so they don't see it as natural. Even though, if you put it into real context, it's the most natural thing possible and makes perfect sense. But because men have been conditioned to believe for so long that this child watching, this child rearing thing is just completely a woman's camp, they don't see it that way. And that's a problem because it not only hurts their ability to properly care for their children, we also have to face the fact, in a lot of cases, it pushes them forward to damage their relationship with their kids. And when we make fun of this in movies and media a lot, it's a very serious issue. A lot of men who grow up and father children lose relationships with their children because they never actually developed them in the first place. So their children often feel abandoned by their fathers, they feel jaded, even though they're working and providing and at least gave a supportive word every so often. Many of these men do not actually stay involved, and that's the problem. These children grow up jaded to their fathers, they feel disenfranchised from them, and often will either end relationships or have highly tumultuous and disconnected relationships to their father. Um, and for similar reasons, they will often have much better, or at least somewhat better, relations to their mother in these cases. And the way it plays out, we've seen before. All the family, for example, had a pretty good cliche. It's like Archie was always disconnected from Gloria, pretty much, and there was a like division. It's like Gloria's over here, and here's Archie. Whereas Edith Bunker's relationship to her daughter was a lot closer, and there was a lot more nuance. And it was for more reasons than the fact they were both women. It was due to the fact of what women were socialized, were trained to do, which men are socialized or trained out of. And this is a problem. Men have to be, because it happens the same way in the opposite. Men have far more horrible relationships to their own sons, whereas the mothers often have better relationships. Why? Because basically what happens is, again, the women are trained to be much more better at caregiving and rearing, and men are trained out of being caregivers. Notice, I did not say they were not trained, they were just trained to steer away from it, and that's where the problem comes in. And so a lot of these red pill discussions center around the fact that all these things like divorce court and child custody happen around a flat model where everyone is equal. But just a quick look at what I just said unveils that this isn't the case. So I guess the discussion I think will be good going forward is we should possibly like get into this thing like how to make sure our sons are more equipped to being engaged parents, and not just the fathers of old, where there was someone sitting on the side who gave a kind word every once in a while, but someone who actually took an interest. Because the reality is, our modern idea of parenting did not come about till, I'd say, at least for European Americans, didn't come about till the time of the revolution, maybe shortly afterwards, a lot of the time before then, parenting was either if you were too poor, you gave birth to a child, then when they were old enough to walk, they went to work or to intern. If you were middle class, or what we call upper middle class now or above, you had nannies until they became a certain age, in which case the girls would go with their mother to learn how to be better wives, and the men would go, boys would go with their father to learn the trades. So, yeah, there's a lot that's been developed in the past few centuries that beforehand wasn't there. So with the modern idea of equality, there also has to be a thing of equal responsibility and equal preparedness. That is preparedness for more boys to be encouraged to take part of child rearing as they got older, but also interest in things related to child rearing, such as baby dolls if they want to, but also whatever they would engage with naturally, because normally it's discouraged. And I think that's unfortunate because then it results in a lot of alienated and very at distance fathers. And I think this goes hand in hand with a number of ways AMABs, male-bodied individuals, are socialized, which contradicts the idea of moving forward and progressing in a world of equality. Just a thought. Have an afternoon, and I will see you on the flip side. As always, you're all loved, valued, valid, and welcome. And appreciated.